Hello guys, welcome to Vidyalankar. This video is dedicated to anyone and everyone who is going to get into engineering or any kind of professional education in which mathematics is needed or applied mathematics, I can say. So we are going to start from scratch, that is from 8th standard, then we are going to go on till 12th standard to understand all the basics that are needed. If you are very good in mathematics, this video probably will help you to brush up your knowledge, to improve, basically to memorize all those things again and for a revision. And if you find yourself weak in mathematics, then definitely this video is going to be a lifeline for you. So, in engineering or like BSc, MSc mathematics, what are the things that are needed in mathematics? If I say core mathematics, the basic three requirements that applied mathematics asks for is trigonometry, derivative and integration. Obviously in our videos in this particular series we will also consider binomial theorem, we'll also consider a few complex number concepts and other things that are needed in like AP and GP. We'll discuss everything together. Okay, so if you're in engineering, then next 4 semesters this video is going to help you in each and every semester. So let's start with trigonometry. So as I said, I'll start from scratch. So let's go to 8th standard. What did you study in 8th standard in trigonometry? You started like this. There are 6 trigonometric ratios, sine theta, cos theta and tan theta, and you studied the same with the help of a right angle triangle. Let me consider a right angle triangle which is ABC. This is the right angle part. And if I say this angle is theta, then one concept which is apart from trigonometry is Pythagoras theorem. When I make a right angle triangle, the first thing that comes to your mind is Pythagoras theorem. So let's just understand that. Pythagoras theorem says this is your hypotenuse. Hypotenuse square, that is AC square, is nothing but AB square plus BC square. Alright? So for theta, if I consider, AB is nothing but the opposite side, BC is nothing but the adjacent side, and AC is nothing but what we call as hypotenuse. So this relation is there by Pythagoras theorem. Now there are 6 trigonometric ratios, first of which is sine theta. Sine theta is nothing but, if you consider sine of this particular angle, it is opposite side AB divided by hypotenuse, which is AC. Similarly, cos theta is what? It is nothing but adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. So it is BC divided by AC. Now these are very basic things. After sine and cos, you got tan theta. What is tan theta? It is nothing but sine theta by cos theta. See, if I divide this particular term by this term, AC will get cancelled. So I can say it is AB by BC. That means opposite side divided by adjacent side for an 8th standard guy. Okay? 8th standard student will obviously study this. Tan theta is sine theta by cos theta. Now when you went in 9th standard, then you saw there are few more trigonometric ratios. I'll write it over here only. That is cosec theta. What is cosec theta? It's nothing but opposite of sine. See, I'm not going to consider now these ratios with respect to the right angle triangle. I'm just relating upcoming ratios with existing ratios only. So cosec theta is nothing but 1 divided by sine. So with respect to right angle triangle, you can say it is nothing but opposite of this. That is hypotenuse divided by opposite side. Clear? Okay, cosec theta is done. Now, what about sec theta? It is nothing but reciprocal of cos. Then you have cot theta, which is nothing but 1 upon tan. Or I can also say this is cos theta divided by sin theta. Clear with this? These are very basic things. For an engineering students, this is nothing. Now, the most important part in this, identities. Now there are few really important identities. Few means namely there are 3. First one is sine square theta plus cos square theta is 1. Sine square theta plus cos square theta is 1. This is something which everybody in this world is aware of. No matter if you have done 10th standard, 11th standard and you switch to commerce, you switch to some other field, still you remember this. This is so popular formula. So sine square plus cos square is 1. This is something everybody is aware. But there is another one which relates sec theta with tan theta, and it is sec square theta is equal to 1 plus tan square theta. How do I get this? As I said, everybody in this world is aware of this. You remember this. But we tend to forget this. At times I have seen students making this kind of a mistake. They think that sec square theta is not 1 plus tan square. Oh, I guess it is 1 minus tan square. So this kind of confusion usually occurs in exam. So please remember, this formula basically can be evaluated from this only. How? You simply divide this equation. I am talking about this. This can be derived from this. This equation, if you divide by cos square itself, just visualize. If you divide by cos square, this is going to be sine square by cos square, which is tan square, plus 1, because cos square by cos square will become 1. It will get cancelled. And 1 by cos square. 1 by cos square will be nothing but sec square. So you get sec square theta is 1 plus tan square theta. So if I divide this by cos square, I get this. What if I divide the same identity, which we are aware, by sine square theta? What I'll be getting? Yes, that's it. Cosec square theta is 1 plus cot square theta. So these are the three identities. Obviously this is also obtained from this only. Three identities that you need to remember. These are really important. Now, after this, you also studied few applications in 10th standard. Those applications we don't have in our engineering section. So we'll not consider that. The applications as and when needed will be done in our regular batches, vacation batches, or different type of batches that we have. Okay, so I'll cover the next basic part, which is half angle formula. What is half angle formula? If I have sine 2 theta term, then the sine 2 theta term can be written as 2 sine theta cos theta. Why do I call it half angle? I'm very sure you must be understanding this now. If I have sine 2 theta, what happens here in right hand side? Angle is basically half of what I have in left hand side. So sine 2 theta, the angle is 2 theta. Here I will have theta. So if somebody says, what is the value of sine 100 theta? 100 theta, half is what? 50 theta. So I can write it as 2 sine 50 theta, cos 50 theta. As simple as that. What about cos? If I have formula for sine, then it's injustice if I don't do it for cos. So that's it. Cos 2 theta formula is cos square theta minus sine square theta. Alright, cos square minus sine square. Now I recall something. See, I have a standard identity which says sine square plus cos square is 1. Can I make use of this to get something over here? Yes, I can create one more formula. Now just think. Suppose I consider this sine square from this particular identity. What is sine square? Sine square can be written as 1 minus cos square. And if I consider that term over here, it will become cos square minus, in bracket, 1 minus cos square. If you open that bracket, you will get this equation. 2 cos square theta minus 1. Similarly, if I consider cos square from this, if I eliminate basically, then what I will be getting? Cos square will be 1 minus sine square. Put that over here. 1 minus sine square, it will give you 1 minus 2 sine square. So I do have 3 formulae for this. In fact, I do have one more, which is in terms of tan, which is 1 minus tan square upon 1 plus tan square. But that is not needed much in engineering, so we are not talking about it. Okay, so I do have 3 formulae. Now people ask me, why do I need 3? I'll just remember 1. I don't need others. You may need in a particular situation. Like if I have a situation in which I'm looking for only cos, I'm not interested in sine, then I'll be using this formula. If I want only sine, I'll be using this formula, not the other one. Clear? So it depends completely on what you want in a particular situation. From this, I'll add up one formula, basically. From this I'm going to evaluate something else as well. But as of now, if it is half angle formula, the heading which I have given, so I'll consider one more. Root of 1 plus sine 2 theta is nothing but cos theta plus sin theta. Now this is most widely and extensively used in engineering like M1, M2, M3, M4. So that's why I'm covering this particular part as well. 1 plus sin 2 theta is cos theta plus sin theta. This is also called as half angle formula because you can see 2 theta became theta. What if I have 1 minus sin 2 theta over here? Then 1 minus sin 2 theta square root is going to be cos minus sin. As simple as that. Okay. Now how do I get this? To understand this, what you can do is get rid of this square root. If I square both the sides, just visualize. I'm not going to write it over here. I'm just discussing formulae, but how it comes, you can understand. If I square, then this root will vanish and it will be this, the whole square. You apply a plus b the whole square formula, you can eventually see that it is equivalent to this. Clear? So that's how we get this formula. You can do the derivation part as a homework. Well, now let me consider double angle formula. Now there's nothing called as double angle formula in your textbooks. This is the name given by us only, just for better understanding of students. Double angle formula means what? Just the opposite of half angle formula. Means in left hand side if I have theta, in right hand side I'm going to have double of that angle, which is 2 theta. To get that formula, I'll consider this equation only. See, just visualize. Again, cos 2 theta is what? It is 2 cos square theta minus 1. Now I'll do one thing. I take minus 1 in left hand side. So what will it become? 1 plus cos 2 theta. And that will be equal to 2 cos squared. Now just divide by 2. So I'll be getting a formula which says cos square theta is 1 plus cos 2 theta divided by 2. Clear? Similarly, from this equation you can see if I eliminate sine, like if I take this in right hand side, this particular part will go in, this in left hand side and this particular part will go in right hand side. So I'll be getting a formula for sine square theta and that will be 1 minus cos 2 theta. Now that derivation again is for you only. Now what happens in these two formulae? This is angle theta, this is 2 theta. Now why do I need this formula? In many engineering applications or basically few topics that you're going to study, you will realize that we always want simplified version of trigonometry. Means what? I need only sine or I need only cos. If I have any power, then it becomes difficult to solve that particular problem. So what this formula does, it converts that square part into kind of linear part, you can say. It's not a linear function, but I'm just saying it's a linear part. So that means it just removes that square factor from there. Okay. Similarly, I do have few more formulae. I'll write it over here. Now this is not in the category of double angle formula. This is something else. Sine 3 theta. What is sine 3 theta? Sine 3 theta is 3 sine theta minus 4 sine cube theta. Again, this is something you have studied in 11th standard only. Okay. Now from this I can get one formula. See, this minus 4 sine cube you can see. Let me take it in left hand side. So it will be 4. Imagine I'm writing 4 sine cube theta. Keep this as it is, 3 sine theta, and this sine 3 theta in right hand side. So it will be minus sine 3 theta, the whole divided by 4. Is this clear? So sine cube can be converted like this. Now again, just understand the basic, guys. See, this is cube and I'm converting this into this particular equivalent in which I don't have any power. So the idea which I told you over here, that if I have square, it becomes at times difficult to solve. So I'll make use of this formula which doesn't have any square term. Similarly, if I do have a cube term, this formula is going to be helpful for me. Clear? Now, if I have formula for sine, obviously I need cos as well. There are formulae for tan as well, sec, cos, cosec, but we are not going to get into that because in trigonometry you know one thing. If you have sine and cos, then everything can be evaluated. So it's better we concentrate ourselves only on trigonometric formulae, only on sine and cos formulae in trigonometry, not others. Okay, so cos 3 theta is, it's nothing but 4 cos cube theta minus 3 cos theta. Now from this again you can derive this particular formula for cos cube. So what will it be? You can see cos cube theta will be, this is cos cube, minus 3 cos theta will come over here. That means it will become cos 3 theta plus 3 cos theta divided by 4. Again a formula that converts cube into not any power of cos. Okay, clear? So I do have this set of formula which I'll be using so as to reduce power. Now you must be wondering that if I did cos square sine square, then cos cube sine cube, then probably my next formula is going to be cos raised to 4 sine raised to 4. No, we are not going to consider that. If I do that, you will be greedy to have more and more formulae for different powers. You will one day ask me cos raised to 100 is what? We will never calculate, we will never memorize those formulae. There are formulae, but we are not going to memorize. If somebody says, what is cos raised to 4? Now you just think, cos raised to 4 can be written as cos square, the whole square. Okay, just forget about the whole square as of now. Cos square you have, you can apply this formula. Then the whole square will do what? It will take square of this. A plus b the whole square you can apply. Again you will come across cos square. You can again use the same formula. If I have cos raised to 5, I can write it as cos cube into cos square. Cos cube, I will be using this formula. Cos square, I will be using this formula. I'll just open the bracket and we'll try to simplify. So what I want to tell you over here, remember only this and this. No matter what power of sine and cos you get, you can simplify that just by using these formulae. Clear? So I hope this concept is clear to everybody. Now I'll come to the next part, which is multiple angle formulae. The basic in this is this. It's quite widely used in our engineering problems. Sine of a plus b. I'm very sure everybody must be aware. Sine of a plus b is sine a cos b plus cos a sine b. Now this is just an overlap over here. Please ignore that. This is sine a cos b plus cos a sine b. So sine cos, cos sine with the same sign. If it is plus, then I have plus. If it is minus, then I have minus. Okay, what about cos? Cos of a plus b, slightly different. It is nothing but cos a, cos b. Then I have sine a, sine b. And there is a twist. If it is plus, I am going to have minus first. So cos formula is what? Cos, cos, sine, sine. With the wrong sign. Means if it is plus, then I am going to have minus. If it is minus, then it is going to be plus. Okay? So multiple angle. This is the formula which we are going to use. Obviously, there are more formulae, but in our engineering curriculum, or basically BSc Maths or whatever, whichever curriculum you are in, this much is sufficient. Okay. Then defactorization formulae. Now, those in second year of engineering must be aware that defactorization formulae of trigonometry are really helpful in solving problems such as in topics Laplace transform and all. So defactorization formula is what? This basically gives you a facility to separate trigonometric terms when they are multiplied. Like if I have sine A and cos B multiplied, see, sine is multiplied with cos. Then this can be defactorized like this, half. 11th standard people have studied it like this, 2 over here, 2 sine A cos B formula. So I'm just taking that 2 in right hand side. Half, so inside we have sine of A plus B plus sine of A minus B. Okay. Just consider this is a partition over here. Okay. So half sine of A plus B plus sine of A minus B. Now, what other situation do we think of? What you can think of? See, this is sine into cos. What else I'll have? Cos into sine. So I'm not going to give you a formula. In 11th, 12th standard, you must have studied a formula for that. But we don't consider that. Why? Because if I have cos into sine, I can simply write it like this, sine into cos. 2 into 3 is same as 3 into 2, right? So we'll just write it like this, switch, and then you can apply this formula itself. Clear? Okay, so then the other situation that we come across is cos A cos B, and the last one that we are going to have is sine A sine B. So let's cover these two. Cos A cos B, it's nothing but cos of A plus B plus cos A minus B. And the last one is little troublesome. It is half cos A minus B first and then minus of cos A plus B. So basically the bottom line I can say is this. If I do have two different trigonometric terms, sine and cos, then my answer will have sine terms involved. Alright? Sine terms involved. And if I have similar terms like cos cos or sine sine, then this formula is going to include cos. Clear? That last one is sin A sin B, in which we have A minus B first. Please keep this in mind. Okay, so these are few basic formulae. We'll cover more in our next video. Thank you.